Hello. Hello, everybody. That's better. So, another Sunday, and you know what that means. Who's excited to do Zoom? All right. Anyway, we had technical difficulties right before this. My video wasn't showing up. My dog like shit in the house and then ran around and it got all over the floor. And like, it has been a day. So I am honestly excited to sit and be able to just do this talk. Yes, Jamie, you made it. I'm so excited. So what we're going to do tonight is talk about body neutrality. Now, as you guys know, these are conversations, these calls are prompted by a lot of conversations that I'll have throughout the week with you guys. So if there's something that comes up a lot where I feel like me and the coaches are just repeating for some reason the same thing over and over and over again, we make it into a Zoom. So you might see a couple of duplicates. We might go over something on tonight's Zoom that you feel like you've heard before. Chances are, there's a lot in the classroom that I'm going to mention tonight to reference back to, but we are going to tackle body neutrality because I think the common misconception is that we have to be in the place of like loving our bodies and like being all body positive. And like, that's great, but that's not reality. You don't just go from like hating yourself for years, like shitting all over yourself for decades to then being like, I love my rolls. Like you can get there if you want. I mean, I don't even think it needs to be like, do you ever meet anyone who's like, I love my hair. My hair is amazing. Like people just don't walk around feeling that way. Like you want to feel good about yourself, but this idea of body positivity, it kind of feels ridiculous because I don't know about you guys. That's kind of the way it feels like it has to be. Do you guys ever experience that where it feels like it has to be this delusional level of self-love? Otherwise, you're a negative person. And I mean, that's just crap, in my opinion. Becca, just in time for my weigh-in and fitness test tomorrow. Let me tell you, it's an interesting experience having a client who has that stuff mandatory for their career. Like, I give you all the props in the world. Just think of everything that gets talked about tomorrow as mouth sounds. Appease them, yes them, whatever them, but we just keep on doing what we do because we get it, But I'm with you. If you need any help tomorrow, shoot me a text. So, okay, now I'm going to awkwardly read these notes because it's the only way my phone can remain plugged in. The fact of the matter is, what is attractive is a social construct. It's just a deeply rooted belief. That's all. It is a preference. It is a certain like kind of, but all of it is choice. All of it is created. None of it's fact. None of it is what it is. There's no such thing as an ugly body if you don't consider it an ugly body. Some people, what is happening with this tonight? An ugly body is something that someone thinks. It's their own opinion. So if we're sitting there thinking it all day long, but like we're the only one who's like laughing at ourselves. We're the only one that's beating ourselves down, berating ourselves. Like literally no one else is. It is just us, Now, is that to say you haven't faced bullying? Absolutely not. People suck. But don't be the shittiest person in the room in your own head, because we all have a choice. As much as it might feel like we don't, we definitely have a choice on that inner dialogue, but if you're coming to this saying like it's easy for you to say, you're right. It is easy for me to say now that I've spent years working on that. But I started in the same place as you guys have. I started thinking like, there's no way I can think this body's okay. And I wouldn't have gotten to the point that I was at if I thought that I had to wait until I did like my body to really try to take care of it. So when it comes to the main hindrance in how happy your life is, think about it this way. With all the shit you got going on in your life, is the biggest hindrance of your happiness the fact that you hate the way you look? Now, not for everybody in here will that be the case, but for a good amount of you guys, it's okay to be honest about that and be like, yeah, honestly. And I don't blame you. We're all in different points in our programs and stuff like that, but this has been something that's been drilled into our heads. Society, doctors, comparisons, heartbreaks, terrible people who have said awful things. All of this has created this idea, but none of it's actual factual. Okay. So if it's the main hindrance in how your family sees you and keeps your family from seeing you as a happy person, your family doesn't give a shit what size you are. And if they do, they got their own messed up body image issues. And that has absolutely nothing to do with you. They'd still be that way, feel that terrified to gain weight themselves, even if you were a size 2. So honestly, most families like really don't give a shit what size you are, except for people who have body image issues themselves. And if that's the case, then if your kid thinks you're a hero in every single regard, and yet they hear their parent, hating themselves because these pants don't fit, or being like, I just wish I wasn't fat. How many awful things I've said that I think back and I'm like, imagine if I ever said that in front of a child. And I heard it as a child. That's literally what I heard my mom doing growing up, was just berating herself or hating, like eating something. I watched her enjoy dinner, and then I saw her miserable the rest of the night, not because she was sick, which she hadn't felt well a lot either, but because she just was in some kind of inner turmoil over the same food she was feeding us. And it leaves a mark. It's generational. And honestly, it all, as cheesy as this is going to sound, it starts with a decision to want to not be that fucking way, is to be like, and with all of the crazy shit going on in the world, this right here should be like a no hate zone, because it's like, in this world, how many no hate zones do we really get? Not a whole lot. So if we're not even creating the one in between here, we're not really safe anywhere. And it's not going to be natural. I don't expect any of you to hear this Zoom and be like, well, hot damn, I don't feel that way anymore. How amazing. Like, that's not reality. And that's what neutrality is about. It's not about the whole like body positive movement. You buy into that if that's what you buy into, no hate. But if you just can't get behind that, this is probably why. So, it sets a tone for what happiness we accept and what happiness our loved ones think they deserve, or what our loved ones, how many people would say, I wish so and so liked themselves more. That's a sad thing. If the people closest to you know that they wish you liked yourself more, then that shows that if you think you're hiding it inside, you're keeping it in, that, people are really perceptive. So here's the next part that I love. There's no cool club based on who can shit talk their body the most. I used to do this all the time. I would me and the bigger girls would gravitate to each other, and then we would just shit talk ourselves. We'd laugh. We would be a joke, we would be self-deprecating humor, and we would laugh about how nobody else gets it, or whatever it was, about how much we like to eat. Meanwhile, all of us were sitting there dieting like crazy, trying to lose weight all the time. But we were just talking about ourselves we were that way, because it felt like even that felt better than not belonging. But that doesn't raise the group average in terms of liking yourselves and protecting each other, really. So if you fall into that group where it's you feel remember Mean Girls, where they all pick each other themselves apart? It's my nail beds suck. It's my forehead's so big. We all have that ability to stop that shit. So if you find yourself in that group and maybe outgrowing that group, you're never a stick in the mud by saying, we don't really benefit from talking like this. Can we just stop? It's really nasty. I mean, no one's going to feel good if we talk like this. And see what happens, because it's so amazing when people realize they don't have to talk shit about themselves. That's not your defense, so that nobody can get you worse than you can get yourself. Been there. Still gets you. So those self-deprecating jokes wouldn't be funny if someone else was saying them about your best friend, right? Or your kid, or your sibling, or anyone who matters to you, who you love, who is so much more than the way that they appear. If you were hearing somebody else talk about, say, those self-deprecating jokes that you say to yourself, to your best friend in the world, or the person you care about, you'd be like, those are fighting words. You need to shut the fuck about my friend, right? You see your friend this much of time compared to how long you live in here. it's important to foster that relationship, you know? And here's where I'm going to start talking about something that some of you guys may roll your eyes. I'm going to take the bet because I used to be the person who'd roll my eyes. I want law of attraction to become something bigger in this program. And for a long time, I've let my fear of people assuming that I meant a certain thing to stop me from bringing it up so much. And that needs to change because it is truly one of the most valuable tools that I have and use. And that's no bullshit. So if somebody else feels like they want to roll their eyes or they don't believe it, you don't have to use every tool I give you. But if you were to cross me on a street and ask me how I did what I've done in every sense of the word, my career, my mindset, my freaking body, my home, my relationship, like everything has all been a matter of what I perceive to be the thing that, oh, I just drooled. You guys ever do that randomly while talking and then you feel the need to, announce it even though it's on Zoom and no one can see? But everything that has happened has been something I have wanted, right? That doesn't mean everything's gone off without a hitch, right? But law of attraction has been at the center of that for years of my life. And it would be a disservice if I didn't just be completely honest about what has helped me in every single step, in every single regard. Okay, so first I'm going to ask you guys, before I lose you, before I see like 5 people log off, what do you know about and what do you think about, honestly, about law of attraction? From what you've heard bullshit on podcasts, on YouTubes, whatever the case may be, judge away if you want, but I want to know your honest opinion on the law of attraction. If you don't know what the hell it is, that's fine too, but tell me in the chat. You see how red my face is getting? I am schwitzing. But we braless and in sweats today on this rainy New Jersey day. So you guys, I hope you enjoy. Sorry, for clarification, do you mean like manifesting? Yeah, that's part of it. That's absolute. Law of attraction is the thing that, it's like the principle, like the reason we manifest, the reason we do our affirmations. We do that all to go towards this overall concept, which I used to think was complete hokey bullshit. I thought it was something that easily manipulatable people used to believe in. So let's see here. Totally believe in it. Whatever level is what level we attract. It's 114 degrees. Oh my God. That's even too hot for me. I cap out at like 100. At first I was skeptical, but when you start focusing on things, you start seeing it. Example, butterfly. Yes. So I know I'm putting good vibes to attract good vibes. Love that. So the thing I love to challenge my clients with is I say, okay, pick something that you're going to attract. You're going to think about this random ass thing. And I want you to think all day long, like, when am I going to see blah, blah, blah? When is blah, blah, blah going to pop up? Like, just keep imagining it, keep picturing it. And then I want you to tell me when you see it. And I loved it. I had one client who thought they were really slick because they were like, I'm going to see a butterfly in the winter. You're like, that's not going to happen. So I get a text from them saying that the person, like little girl in front of them at a bank, had a big ass butterfly backpack on. So I don't know. It's my fun way of testing out. Like I like to like give someone something tangible to do that might produce results. So I suggest you guys pick something random and focus on attracting it. See if you can surprise yourself. I love law of attraction. Woo! To believe that it is possible, even if it seems completely out of reach. Sorry, guys. I'm losing my voice. Totally believe in it, but it's definitely something that's hard to do in daily life. It's all energy. I so need to tap into it more. Joe Dispenza is a great resource for the science aspect of it. Ooh, I'm going to look into that. I do believe having a positive outlook yields positive results, but I also think there could be external factors that can impact one's life for sure. Whatever level we are on. Okay, sorry, struggle with that one, Becca. It takes commitment and consistency. It's not easy. I love the idea, but I've never put into practice. It's like if you tell yourself something so much you believe it. Absolutely. I used to literally say this person would call me at 10 when I wanted them to call, and maybe it would be 10:01, but it always happened. So the hardest thing about law of attraction is how weird it is to believe in it and how scary it is to believe in something, because what if you get it wrong? What if you don't attract it? What if, whatever. But the thing about law of attraction is it is completely unwavering when you don't attach yourself on how it's supposed to go. And that is terrifying, because with it comes events that we don't always want, and in the short term. But I cannot tell you how many people I've helped attract a great job where they ended up quitting the job they were at, losing the job that they went to, and then getting the job that was like their dream job as a result of losing that other job. Or how many times people have had like these. I've helped people use it in terms of, don't kill me, because I know if I heard me talking years ago, I would like throw up. But I've literally told people, use your Grab-A-Boy codes, your affirmation codes to try, for pain, for help with symptoms, things like that. Do I think it's like a voodoo fix where it's like, oh, I'm going to dream up winning the lottery and, wish upon a star, tomorrow I'm going to be a millionaire? No, there's still active participation that's required. There's still getting through those downs and saying like, just because this, I stumbled in this way doesn't mean my eye is any less on the prize. I just know that I'm just not quite there yet. But that's why it's so hard to keep this up, because it is human nature to feel protected by doubting good things will happen. If we don't get our hopes up, if we feel like it's wishing for something, well, how many times have we prayed for different outcomes? They haven't happened. But it's different when it becomes a practice of attracting what it is you want to happen, and knowing that listening to your gut, seeking support, doing the steps are going to help you. If you do them long enough, there really is no reason why they wouldn't. And then trusting that that's supposed to be delivered to you in the way that it is. Very difficult to do. But I really believe that what we put out there, and this is the woo-woo part of it, right? Because everyone can understand if you go after something like it's going to happen, you're going to go after it more seriously. It's a given. But the real woo-woo side of it is every time we are speaking something, every time we are thinking something, bear with me, we are attracting what we're saying, what we're speaking. How long do we spend if we let our brains and our self-image go like, unhindered? What do you think you would attract if everything you say about yourself, your body, how you feel, where your body's going, how things are working out, if what you say becomes the fact, would you like what you say? Would you still feel 100% true? Like if I say something, it becomes fact. Would you still say things the way you do, knowing it? But I mean, like if it was immediate, if you're like, it's going to rain lizards, and then you look outside and it's pouring lizards, right? You would think about your words a lot different. And that concept to me was crazy, because I used to be the most negative, downtrodden individual. I could find a new thing to hate about myself every day. If I spent an hour doing my makeup and people were like, oh, I like your eye shot, I'd be like, thanks, it's cakey, but it'll do. Like that was literally me, if you can imagine. So, if that's how you're living, that's what life you're living, like there are plenty of people who are of all varying sizes who are still living their lives the way they want. There is absolutely nothing different than the work that's gone into that being possible. That's the only difference. Everybody is capable of being unbothered about their weight, and that not meaning that your weight's going to stay the same. That doesn't mean your symptoms are going to stay. That literally just means, what is the point of absolutely hating this if I gotta live in this anyway? And the days that I'm mean to myself are going to amount to the same days that I'm not mean to myself as I'm working towards this goal. Woo woo or not, it just makes more sense to think you're going to get to that goal faster, or more likely, if your mindset supports the fact that that's possible. And I don't care how many times we've all failed, there is not 7, 10, 15, 1,000 ways to do any one thing. There's an infinite amount of ways. And there's certainly ways we haven't tried before. Our fear of it not working out again is what literally keeps us from spending the time we got to live anyway, from pursuing it. We have no choice but to be here. Right? So law of attraction, I want you guys look into the old law of attraction videos. I have a bunch on the page. I have a bunch in the classroom. It's definitely going to be a bigger part of the program as we're, writing up the book and doing all of that stuff, because, and I think that's also looking over my stuff all this time lately. Law of attraction is in everything. If you guys have ever had a call with me where I've tried to change around your verbiage and tried to make you like re-say something, because it's like I say, that's really finite what you're saying. And I know you're here to want to change that. So don't say it like it's a fact. Say it's like something we're working on. How many of you guys have heard that from me on a call? That's all law of attraction. Don't waste time speaking what you don't like, what you don't want into existence. It doesn't remedy the situation. It doesn't make you more of a humble person. It doesn't get you to a place that's better. It's just absolute negativity that no one wants to hear, not even you. You don't want to hear that shit in your head, right? If there was someone in front of you saying that shit to you, you'd probably want to catch a charge. So, let's see here. So the art of law of attraction, though, is not to be delusional, right? Like if you don't, again, because we're saying we're not going to go right from body hate to like, I love my body, because that doesn't feel real. So the real art of law of attraction is being able to phrase your struggles, even then in a way that attracts what it is you do want. I recently had a call with a client and she was telling me about how like she breaks out on a certain day of her period every time. And so I offered her a reframe. I said, okay, well, what if instead we say, keeping my skin clear, it becomes more of a priority around day 3. What did you guys interpret that to mean? If someone were to say, well, it becomes a priority to keep my skin clear, especially day 3 of my period, that would lead you to believe that someone breaks out on day 3 of their period. But if you say that, you're literally attracting that. If you say it becomes a priority to keep my skin clear on day 3 of my period, that is not dismissing the fact that there is like an issue afloat. It means that you're not giving the power to the thing you want to prevent. It's a working thing. I'm going to continue to work to keep my skin clear. So, being able to say, I always use the example of, I hope it's sunny tomorrow, instead of, I hope it doesn't rain. Because we don't even realize that we're doing it, but when we're like, oh my God, I can't believe, like, I'm so dumb. I should know how to do this already. Or, oh my God, I just feel like I'm never going to catch a break. It's one thing after another. Well, one way you can say all that stuff is, I'm really looking forward to feeling like I got it under control. This is a lot for me right now. I'm really excited for a point where things can lighten a bit. That's not dismissing what you want. It's calling out what you want, and it's doing away with the panic thing you're trying to prevent, which is what we're used to calling out. Does anyone need any help like clarifying, like restructuring something they say? Hit me with your most negative. I'll find a spin for friggin' anything, but it's truly like, I just want to reiterate again, I was not this person. It's not just like I've always had a relatively okay outlook. I've had a lot of friggin' trauma growing up. I have been through a lot of times where, I used to joke and say it's sheer luck that I'm still here. There's so much shit that I've been through that I'm like, does someone like have it out for me? Like, why am I, that's me years ago. So it is not by any means, I don't want anyone to think I'm trying to oversimplify this. It's just something that I want you to try and pinpoint in your day-to-day to know that that is something we are really going to try and change and fix, because it doesn't mean you're not going to lose any weight just because you're not an asshole to yourself anymore. The two are not, mutually exclusive. So let's see what I wrote here. I get to a point in my notes where I just get really passionate, and then it's just like a lot. And I'm like, maybe I should structure this, but hey, you guys get the authentic me that way. So body neutrality means a truce. It means, what does it, pardon language for kids listening, what does it fucking matter? What does it matter? Is it gonna make your rent cheaper? Is it gonna bring down the years you got left on your mortgage? Is it gonna, improve anybody who loves health? Is it going to, make you famous? Like what is being sizes smaller gonna actually change? That some stranger who hasn't seen you in forever, who you consider a friend, but you don't even know shit about them, says, "Oh, you lost weight. You look good." That's what this is all about. That's what this is worth. That's what all the unhappiness is for. It's bullshit. Nothing changes. The only thing that changes is the lived experience between here, because the reality is what it is. You look like how you look, right? I wrote this here. This is kind of harsh, but I wrote here, I'm the only one choosing to think the way I don't look is attractive, and the way I look is not. I'm the only one. When we are in that mindset, you are the only one choosing to think that way. Admit how you look. Admit how you like, just come to terms with it, right? This is the harsh part that I don't want to read, but you have 3 chins. Okay. This is how I used to talk to myself. That's why it's harsh. You have cankles. Okay. People are going to talk to you or they're not going to talk to you. They're going to think you're gross or they're not going to think you're gross. But at the end of the day, are you stuck in a prison or do these people not matter? Right. Okay. Like it became where, you remember in 8 Mile, anyone see that movie with Eminem, 8 Mile? I'm old. So some of my younger clients are probably like, what the fuck is that? But it is so good. And if you only watch one scene, YouTube it. The final battle scene, because I use that example so much. So it's about this rapper who, he can't get his footing. He freezes on stage. He's like amazing. But when he gets on stage, he just completely, freezes and loses constantly. And he just takes a lot of shit in his personal life and everything. And then finally, the last rap battle, he gets the mic first. Ashley, I see your comments and I'm laughing. But he gets the mic first, and he basically just raps and says everything shitty anybody else could say about himself, right? He says it, he's like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, and I'm trash, I'm blah, 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 I'm stupid, my mom doesn't love me, like whatever you could think, whatever you could say. And then he's like, all right, what else? You got anything else to say? Your turn now, and drop the mic. And the dude was like, and had nothing to say because Eminem just called it out. It's like, yeah, this is everything, and we try to go along that route with the self-deprecating humor. But just because we're meaner to ourselves than other people will be, doesn't mean we're going to be at a place of strength or growth or healing. The real goal is to say, all right, this is this, this is that, this is this. I'm going to have those things, whether I am shitty, miserable, mean to myself today, or if I just try to put it in the back of my head and move on and do something else and realize that I'm going to look this way, and then do what you got to do to help your health. Of course, don't just say, screw it. I mean, you could, but talk to me about that decision, but there doesn't have to be that divide of fear. You can just work towards what you got to work towards, and make the conscious effort to just not shit all over yourself. It takes time. Okay. So misery doesn't look more attractive, right? So if you're feeling bad about the way you're looking, right, always remember that nobody notices what we notice on ourselves. And if they do, they're probably shitty. And at the end of the day, if you hate the way you look, I guarantee you're not going to look any better with a puss on your face, because you're sitting there thinking about what some asshole who you don't even know thinks about you. Pretty sure anyone you went to that event with will be probably upset that you're distracted and not having a great time. Then you'll feel guilty, like, why am I such a stick in the mud? We all start here. Let's see. I called myself an ogre in this paragraph. Wow, I was really into it. So what do I want to say out of this? Oh, and the other thing is, when you could tell when you're around someone with low self-esteem. I was just a walking, somebody loved me, and it was just so obvious. And who did I attract? People who look for people who are like that, who have no self-worth, and those are usually really advantageous people. There's no secret that people who battle body image, battle eating disorders, autoimmune illness, chronic illnesses are at a higher level of narcissistic abuse happening to them. Because, if you think about it, it hits at our self-worth. we tolerate things from a partner because we internalize it and think that we're not good enough. And if you can stop that even a little bit with body image, because I mean, that your life will change. If you uphold the value, the standard that you expect for the people you love the most, for yourself, and how you talk to yourself, the people you give the power of opinion to, all of those things, your life will absolutely change. There's so much room on the other side of just having this idea of what's hot or not, you know? So, but it takes time. The only thing that matters is a decision. It doesn't matter how good you are at changing your thought pattern, changing how you say things, law of attraction out the ass tomorrow. None of that matters, right? The only thing is you start with a decision to not want to think this way anymore. Give yourself the grace that it's going to take a while to learn because you're battling decades of inner dialogue, but have that decision where you're like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this bullshit. This doesn't serve me. It hasn't gotten me into my swimsuit, my Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition shoot yet. And, the ship has sailed. My life is it's more important that I'm happy. Like, I'm tired of this bullshit. Get mad at that. Don't get mad at you for looking the way you do. Get mad at the time you're wasting feeling like I can't be in this skin suit. Why? No one else has to live in it. Ooh, let's see this comment here. I've been a makeup artist for years, and even the most beautiful people I've ever seen have sat in my chair and had something that they were self-conscious about. Yep. That they wanted to change. It was usually something so minor, so no one else would even notice. First few times I heard it was really eye-opening. If that's your mindset, there's always going to be something. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have clients of all sizes, guys. And I have also, when I first lost weight to the point where I noticed that I had, because it didn't matter that I had lost the weight. I just didn't realize that I had. I really thought that everyone was just kind of fooled by how I was carrying it. Like 80 pounds is a mirage, but it really, body dysmorphia is a bitch, So when I tell you, like, there were still things in the beginning of my weight loss that I could pick apart. Well, now that I've lost the weight, I got to make sure that my skin is smooth. Now that, I've lost the weight, I'm going to be in pictures more, which I should have been in pictures regardless. But now that I'm going to be in more pictures, I can't have my psoriasis or like these deep scars like showing, or my hooded lids, my teeth. There's always something. There's always something. If we let it become something that we feel badly about when it's just literally our biology, we're imposing a much harder life on ourselves. So making that decision to not, it changes everything. So read this last comment here. I think it was Doja Cat that recently did an interview and talked about how she's still so unhappy even with everything in the world. Yeah. I mean, we see it all the time too. Celebrities, depression doesn't change because people shout your name out and they love you or they admire you or think you're talented. That is literally all in between here. This is the most important safe space to build for yourself, because everything else will follow. Okay. One of my good friends, and she is absolutely mortified. Okay. Can you text me that link? Because I want to see that. Someone sent me a private message. So send me that, Ash. I want to see. Now, when it comes to how to implement this going forward, I want you guys to focus on catching yourself. Whenever you're finding something that, because it's you've been so used to it that it's going to slip in. So try to pay attention to what you're saying and how you're feeling about just everything during the day. And when you notice that you say anything that kind of claims something to be the worst that it is, right? Like, this is insert negative adjective here. I am insert negative adjective here. Big or small, catch yourself doing that this week. Keep a list in your phone. You can text it to your coaches. You can put it in your notes, but keep a running list so you can really see, like, oh, wow, this is how much I'm doing this every day. Even if you already do it a lot, it'll give you a new sense of like defensiveness to change it when you see it all on paper and you're reading it back, maybe when you're over it, right? Because in the moment, it's the end of the world. And then when we're over it, we can't even remember that we were that upset until it happens again. So reading back on a log full of just like the amount of shit you talk to yourself every day, I think is humbling, and it gives us more power to change. All right. So I know you are all absolutely capable of not giving a single shit about what your body looks like at the time where you're working so hard to heal it. It's going to take time. It doesn't mean it's going to hold you guys back. If anything, it unlocks the doors of your freaking life when you're not feeling self-conscious anymore. I mean, you really want a lesson in that, grow out your leg and armpit hair and go out into public in the summer. That'll really, that'll shove you right in. But you know, we all deserve to just not give a shit. Think of everything that's going on. Nobody pays you if you got, you know, if you're a certain size or you got hairless legs, like, you know, too much bad shit these days to care that much about this. Something that, you know, if something happened to you tomorrow, the people who love you, who rely on you, things like that, not like, if anything, if they were to say anything about your weight, would they say that you hated your weight? Would they say like, you know, I wish that she didn't hate herself so much? Would they? If the answer is yes, change it immediately, you know? And honestly, if you're like, well, yeah, people would know me for that. That's a tough pill to swallow. I hope it puts priority behind why it's so important to beat that and to learn, because that's nothing good can come from that, you know? So, oh my God, what happened? I just zoomed out really weirdly on my screen. Why are there so many commands on a iMac? Why? I don't need to do all of, I'm not a DJ. I don't know why my touchpad does so much, you know? But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this Zoom. I know I wanted to keep it brief today because I just talked my ass off the last 2 weeks, but I want to know your feedback. I want to know if you feel like you're not quite connected with this, if it pissed you off, if you loved it, you know, whatever the case may be. Oh, I see a really good comment. Whatever the case may be, Raquel, send me that separately because I want to post it on the comments. I hope that this encourages a conversation between us, between you and your coaches. You know, this is really the best gift you could give yourself and the people who love you. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm going to go eat something and then go work on some furniture, but I'll talk to everyone tomorrow. Okay. Bye.